If you're heading to a bar this weekend, don't forget to bring your proof of vaccination.
New protocols for USC students and guests onto campus begin next week.
The Los Angeles Fire Department is taking heat for its opposition to the city's vaccine mandate. See It Live starts now. A new LA mandate requiring proof of a COVID-19 vaccination is now in effect at indoor bars and clubs. Good evening, I'm Sofia Gonzalez.
And I'm Bianca Bueno. Reporter Ayanna Martinez is live outside a bar near campus with more on the new mandate.
I'm here on Figueroa Street, where local bars will soon be requiring proof of vaccination for all dine-in customers. The Los Angeles County mandate requiring this proof of vaccination is said to be one of the most strictest mandates of its kind in the country, and some local spots are feeling the pressure. Local bars like Rock and Riley's and USC Village are already requiring proof of vaccination upon entry. Some local bar managers, however, feel unprepared to perform such a check.
For me being the manager here, I think it's going to put a lot of pressure on us. I don't have enough employees to stand at the door and check if we get busy. I work during the day by myself. I don't know how I'm going to be able to run the restaurant, stop and check vaccines, check cards and stuff like that. Once again, there's fake cards going around, and I've been informed by that by the health department. So how are we really supposed to know what's real and what's not?
Bars, breweries, and nightclubs will be required to perform a check of all vaccination cards and IDs. If a vaccination card is not available, you must provide a negative COVID test. All locations found not adhering to this mandate will be issued a $1,000 fine. For Annenberg Media, I'm Ayanna Martinez. Back to you in the studio.
New COVID-19 safety protocols go into effect for everyone on campus starting this Monday. USC Chief Health Officer Dr. Sarah Van Orman says people will no longer be able to use guest Trojan check to bypass the system.
So if you are showing up with guest Trojan check, you're going to be routed to one of the vaccine testing verification stations and required to show proof of vaccination and a photo ID. So anyone who's been using guest Trojan check and they're not supposed to be, beginning on November 8th, with that vaccine verification, they're going to get caught.
Campus visitors must provide a photo ID and either proof of vaccination or negative test result within 72 hours of entry. There'll be increased testing for all students, faculty, and staff who've received an approved vaccine exemption. They must also provide their photo IDs and negative tests within 72 hours.
Los Angeles County is starting to see an uptick in the 7-day COVID transmission average as temperatures cool down. The county's public health department director says mask mandates are not going away anytime soon.
Cooler weather has arrived, and with it conditions that favor COVID transmission as we gather inside to stay warm and for celebrations and gatherings. While vaccinations remain our most powerful tool for reducing spread of the virus, when we have this much transmission, masking up indoors and in crowded outdoor spaces is still an important layer of protection for everyone. We ask that you continue to do your part and adhere to the masking requirements, which are likely to remain in place for the remainder of this calendar year, as we all work hard to reduce community transmission rates to the moderate tier.
650 COVID-19 positive patients are currently hospitalized. Of those, 155 are in intensive care. The county-wide vaccination rate remains unchanged from last week. 80% of residents have received their first dose, and 72% are fully vaccinated.
LA Mayor Eric Garcetti has tested positive for COVID while attending the UN Climate Summit in Scotland. He is fully vaccinated and was scheduled to return to Los Angeles today. Because he must quarantine, the mayor is not expected to return to LA until November 13th.
On Monday, the U.S. will loosen COVID travel restrictions on nearly 36 countries. For many international students here at USC, that means seeing friends and family from abroad is about to get a whole lot easier.
It gives us more of an option whether we want to go home or not, and it allows our families to come come over if they so wish to.
For the people that their parents want to come, so it's great news. And for the people that their parents, they don't want their parents to come, I guess it's bad news for them.
Here are the new rules. Non-U.S. residents must be fully vaccinated or have a negative test within 72 hours. Partially and unvaccinated U.S. citizens must have a negative test within 24 hours before they're able to enter the U.S. And fully vaccinated Americans must still show proof of a negative COVID test done within 72 hours of returning to the United States. One USC public health expert agrees with the new rules and says it's time the U.S. opened to more travel.
Some of these restrictions have had a lot of real costs to people in the country and outside of the country. And I think now with the vaccine and with other measures in place, it is very safe to allow travelers to come back into the US.
Children under 18 and people who are unable to get vaccinated due to health issues are exempt from the new vaccination requirements.
Employees at large businesses must be vaccinated by January 4th. President Biden's mandate applies to companies with over 100 employees. A USC Career Center director describes how this will impact students' career search.
Now, if a student believes that they want to put their best foot forward or really emphasize the fact that they have been vaccinated, they could possibly add that in their cover letter, but it's not something I'd put on a resume or on a public LinkedIn profile at this time.
Sharif Blake says the Career Center is not currently advising students to include their vaccination status on their resume or LinkedIn profile. She notes that this advisement could, however, change in the future. LAFD firefighters aren't just fighting fires. Today, they oppose the mandate that requires city workers to become vaccinated. Reporter Sydney Charles talked with firefighters about some of the reasons why.
The sounds of Wilson Pickett filled the air this morning at the United Firefighters of LA City Hall. Firefighters gathered to protest possible termination for failing to get vaccinated. An LAFD captain said they want the city to reconsider the policy.
What we're asking for is for the city to come to a compromise.
The vaccination policy could threaten the jobs of as many as 10,000 city workers. A captain says fewer firefighters could put the public at risk.
Now, what's going to happen if we send these men and women home and not allow them to work because of the vaccine mandate? We will have to close more companies. We will have to close more trucks, more engines.
Another firefighter believes everyone should be given a choice.
Like me, I believe every individual should decide what is best for themselves and their family. I respectfully ask our city officials to reconsider this termination policy, which offers zero options or alternatives to getting vaccinated while maintaining our positions at work.
Some attendees came to show support.
But I stand here today to say that I am vaccinated, and it was a personal choice for me to become vaccinated. And as I look at all my members back here, I support them.
One thing that all the firefighters mentioned here today was the possibility that the COVID-19 mandate will affect their ability to serve the community.
The thing that drove me to join the fire department is just that want to serve the community. I wanted to be able to help people. The mandate, as stated earlier in our press conference, is going to be a negative impact on our ability to deliver services to the community.
As of mid-October, more than a quarter of LAFD's workforce remains unvaccinated. Firefighters who have a religious or medical exemption must be tested for COVID-19 weekly. For Annenberg Media, I'm Sydney Charles.
A mobile clinic will be offering the COVID-19 vaccine to local elementary schools tomorrow, now that the CDC has approved the Pfizer vaccine for children ages 5 to 11. The clinic offers health services such as immunizations, urgent care, and preventative services. We spoke with the CEO about the partnership with LAUSD.
A lot of parents in this age group 5 to 11 are very hesitant, right? They think that there's a potential for harm for these kids. But the data that we have has shown that the Pfizer vaccine is very effective, it's very safe. And then the added benefit is that if we're being sponsored by the school, they believe in us, they trust in us.
Dr. Chavez also said that now is a perfect time for children to be vaccinated in order to prepare for a possible rise in cases expected over Thanksgiving and the holiday season.
The Palmdale City Council is looking for a way out of the COVID vaccination mandate for indoor spaces. Hundreds of organizers from the Palmdale Freedom Coalition voiced their opposition to the mandate during a council meeting in October.
These vaccine mandates and these passports are very, very quickly moving on the road of tyranny and segregation and separating people. I support bodily autonomy. I don't want someone telling me what to do with my body. If they're telling me I have to have a vaccine in order to eat inside, that's not appropriate. That's creating two classes of citizens.
Last night, the council voted to discontinue the local emergency proclamation. It began in March 2020 and allowed the city to collect emergency funds from the state. Now, the coalition is proposing an ordinance to ban vaccine mandates in their city.
It's causing a division amongst our city, and we were just reminding our mayor that he needs to protect us.
That ordinance is going to give us that surefire steel protection, and yes, it will put a target on our back with the county. But what is the county going to argue? You have to subject your citizens to our tyrannical mandates? Not a jury in the world would allow that.
The coalition hopes a vaccine mandate ban will encourage more tourism in Palmdale. The city's next city council meeting is Wednesday, November 17th.
The USC football team is set to fly out this weekend to play against Arizona State University, despite an exponential rise in COVID cases in that state. Arizona reported 3,500 new cases today and 17 deaths. 59% of the total population has received at least one dose of the vaccine. An Annenberg Media sports reporter is traveling to ASU.
I'm always concerned whenever COVID cases go up, but I know that I've done all I can do to be safe. I'm vaccinated. I got my booster shot yesterday. So even though you would hope people are doing the right thing, you can't count on other people to do the right thing. All you can do is take care of yourself.
The executive director of ASU's Biodesign Institute, Dr. Joshua LeBaire, said this is not a good time to be in crowds in Arizona. We spoke with one USC songgirl who will be attending the game this Saturday.
Being performers, not only just athletes, we're there to pump up the crowd, and it's harder to do that when your face is covered and you can't smile and have your full expression.
Last time USC played against ASU, Trojans won by just 1 point. Let's see how the battle ends and hope to keep the crown in Southern California.
Professional sports leagues have different COVID mandates and different protocols for vaccinated and unvaccinated players. An LA Kings communications director says players are required to wear masks in all parts of the facility except on the ice.
Our players have been very cooperative, very fortunate from that standpoint. They are all vaccinated, which isn't necessarily the case, with every team. We are not holding appearances, with players or with anyone in the traveling party. So, interaction with fans is very select.
Unvaccinated NHL players only have access to their hotel and arena and are banned from areas like bars, restaurants, gyms, and pools. Players who test positive will be suspended without pay. In the NFL, protocols include daily testing, masks in facilities or while traveling, and physical distancing. Players have to quarantine following high-risk exposure. Players who test positive have to isolate and can return only after 2 negative tests. And in the NBA, there is no vaccine mandate, but staff are required to be vaccinated. Unvaccinated players have to test daily and wear a mask while inside team facilities.
Thanks for watching See It Live. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Sofia Gonzalez.
And I'm Bianca. You can catch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com.